Imagine standing at the edge of a battlefield, but the war isn't fought with swords or shields. It's waged in your mind. You are both the warrior and the enemy. The battlefield is your consciousness, and the enemy is your negative thinking. No one can save you from this battle, except you. Do you hear that voice that whispers doubts, fears, and regrets? That voice is a parasite feeding on your strength. But what if I told you there was a way to silence it, to annihilate it with the force of your own mind? This is the path of the Stoics, a path not for the weak, but for those willing to master themselves. Let's explore how Marcus Aurelius's timeless wisdom can help us kill the negative thoughts that threaten to dominate our lives. Ready to step into the fight? Let's begin. Number 1, the enemy within. The greatest war you will ever face is the one within your mind. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But how often do we give away that power? How often do we allow negative thoughts to spread like poison, clouding our judgment and weakening our resolve? These thoughts creep in silently, feeding on our doubts, amplifying our fears, and distorting the truth of who we are. These thoughts are not facts. They are mere shadows, distortions of reality. Yet, when we dwell on our failures, insecurities, or fears, we breathe life into these shadows. They grow larger, more menacing, until they consume our ability to act. We become prisoners within our own minds, shackled by illusions of inadequacy. But the Stoic knows that thoughts are just that, thoughts. They hold no power unless we give them power. "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," said Seneca. We create monsters in our minds that don't exist anywhere else. Most of the pain, the fear, and the failure we anticipate never materializes. It lives only in the stories we tell ourselves. Imagine standing before a vast, open battlefield. Your thoughts are like soldiers, some loyal and disciplined, others rebellious and chaotic. To win the battle, you must control the chaos. You must recognize which thoughts serve you and which betray you. The enemy within is not some invincible force. It is your own unwillingness to confront these thoughts head-on. When you catch yourself spiraling into negativity, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is it true, or is it just fear masquerading as truth? By doing this, you reclaim your power, one thought at a time. Negative thinking thrives in unexamined minds. It grows in the shadows of passivity. But the moment you shine the light of scrutiny on it, the illusion begins to crumble. You strip these thoughts of their strength by questioning them, by refusing to let them go unchecked. In this battle, clarity is your sword, and awareness is your shield. The Stoic approach is not to suppress these thoughts, but to face them, dismantle them, and let them go. Victory lies not in avoidance, but in mastery. Number 2, the power of perspective. Our reality is not shaped by the events we experience, but by how we interpret them. This is a truth the Stoics understood deeply. Epictetus once declared, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When negative thoughts arise, it is often because we have given an event a meaning that serves to weaken us. We magnify setbacks into catastrophes, criticisms into condemnations, and challenges into impossible burdens. But these interpretations are just one perspective, and we have the power to choose another. Imagine two people facing the same storm. One curses the rain, feeling victimized and defeated. The other welcomes it, seeing an opportunity to test their resilience or nourish the land. The storm is the same, but their experiences are worlds apart. This is the power of perspective. We cannot control the weather, the people around us, or the unexpected trials of life. But we can control how we see these things, and in doing so, we transform our experience of them. Every negative thought is a choice. When a challenge arises, we can choose to see it as a threat, or we can view it as a chance to grow stronger. When someone criticizes us, we can see it as an attack, or we can use it as an opportunity for self-reflection and improvement. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacles can become our greatest teachers if we have the courage to see them that way. When negativity clouds our minds, we must step back and question our perspective. Is there another way to see this? Can I extract some value, some lesson from this experience? Shifting our perspective doesn't mean denying reality. It means choosing to focus on what empowers us, rather than what diminishes us. This is not blind optimism, it is strategic wisdom. It is the discipline of choosing the most constructive interpretation of every situation. We hold the brush with which we paint our reality. If our minds are filled with dark, fearful thoughts, the world will appear dark and fearful. But if we approach life with a mindset of resilience, courage, and adaptability, the same world will reveal opportunities, lessons, and growth. This shift in perspective is a weapon against negativity, a weapon we all have, but few wield. Number 3. Detachment from the outcome. One of the most crippling sources of negative thinking comes from our attachment to outcomes. We obsess over results, worrying about whether things will go our way. When they don't, we spiral into frustration, disappointment, or despair. The Stoics understood this trap and offered a liberating alternative. Focus on the process, not the outcome. As Epictetus wisely said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Outcomes are beyond our control. We can influence them through effort, preparation, and action, but we cannot dictate them. The weather may change, people may act unpredictably, circumstances may shift without warning. The more we cling to a desired result, the more vulnerable we become to disappointment. This attachment breeds anxiety and frustration, clouding our judgment and poisoning our peace of mind. Instead, the Stoic path is to detach from the outcome and pour all our energy into what we can control: our actions, our decisions, our effort. If you give your best to a task, you have already succeeded. Whether the world recognizes that success or not is irrelevant. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." Imagine preparing for an important exam, job interview, or performance. You study, you practice, you give it everything. At that point, your job is done. Whether you pass, get the job, or receive applause is not within your hands. You have already achieved mastery by giving your all. This detachment frees you from the prison of expectation. You are no longer shackled to a specific result. Instead, you are anchored in your effort and integrity. This approach is not about apathy or giving up. It is about investing fully in the present moment and accepting the future with grace. When we detach from the outcome, we liberate ourselves from fear of failure and disappointment. We become resilient, adaptable, and serene. No setback can break us because our worth is no longer tied to external validation. It is rooted in our commitment to the process. Detachment from the outcome means that failure becomes feedback, not a personal defeat. It means that success is simply a byproduct, not the sole purpose of our effort. When we embrace this mindset, negativity loses its grip. We are no longer driven by fear, but by purpose. Our actions become pure, our minds clear, and our hearts unburdened. Number 4. Embracing discomfort as a path to growth. We live in an age obsessed with comfort and convenience. From instant gratification to avoiding anything that challenges us, modern life encourages us to seek the path of least resistance. But the mind that is constantly comforted becomes weak, brittle, and fragile. The Stoics knew that discomfort is not the enemy. It is a catalyst for growth. As Seneca noted, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Think of a blade forged in fire. Without the heat, the hammer, and the relentless pressure, the steel would remain soft and useless. The same applies to us. If we avoid discomfort, we deny ourselves the opportunity to harden, to sharpen, and to evolve. True strength comes from facing challenges head-on, not from avoiding them. The Stoic practice of voluntary discomfort, deliberately exposing oneself to temporary hardship, is a powerful tool for developing resilience. Marcus Aurelius, while ruling an empire, still slept on the hard ground from time to time to remind himself of his strength. He embraced discomfort as a way to inoculate his mind against fear of suffering. When we confront discomfort voluntarily, we reclaim our power over it. Cold showers, fasting, physical exertion, public speaking, or even confronting difficult emotions. These are opportunities to stretch our limits. The goal is not to suffer for the sake of suffering, but to teach the mind that discomfort is temporary and that we are far stronger than we believe. This mindset kills negative thinking because it transforms our relationship with challenges. Instead of dreading difficulties, We see them as training grounds. Every moment of discomfort becomes a chance to forge inner strength. We stop thinking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? This shift is profound. Instead of resentment, we cultivate curiosity. Instead of fear, we build courage. When we embrace discomfort, we stop being controlled by it. The unknown becomes less intimidating. Failures become lessons. Hardships become fuel for growth. As Epictetus declared, no man is free who is not master of himself. Mastery of self means walking willingly into discomfort, knowing that each challenge refines our spirit. We must remember that life will not spare us hardship. The world is indifferent to our comfort. We can either fight this reality or align ourselves with it. By embracing discomfort, we fortify ourselves against the inevitable storms of life. We become unbreakable, not because we avoid suffering, but because we face it and grow stronger through it. Number 5. The art of objective perception. Our minds are powerful, but they are also the source of our suffering. We often trap ourselves in cycles of negative thinking, not because of the events themselves, but because of how we perceive them. The Stoics taught us that events are neutral. It is our judgment, our interpretation, that labels them as good or bad. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Consider a rainy day. To a farmer, rain is a blessing. To a traveler, it may be an inconvenience. The event rain remains the same. What changes is the perception. If we allow our judgments to distort reality, we invite unnecessary suffering. The key to freedom lies in objective perception, seeing things as they are, stripped of emotional bias. Objective perception is not denial. It doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means facing reality with clarity. When you lose a job, a relationship, or an opportunity, the Stoic asks, what has really happened here? Is it the end of everything or merely a change? Is it a disaster or a chance for new growth? By stepping back and viewing situations objectively, we silence the destructive noise of our mind. This practice is not easy. Our emotions will scream for attention. Fear, anger, regret, these are natural responses, but they are not commands. We can observe these feelings without being controlled by them. As Epictetus wisely noted, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When we detach from emotional narratives, we find the space to respond with reason and strength. Imagine someone insults you. Your initial reaction might be anger, hurt, or defensiveness. But take a breath. Objectively, what has happened? Words were spoken. That's all. Those words only have power if you give them power. When you detach from the insult, you take away its sting. You realize that your peace of mind is far too valuable to be disrupted by someone's fleeting comment. Objective perception is the art of stepping outside the storm of emotion and seeing the world clearly. It allows us to respond with intention, not react impulsively. It shields us from the chaos of negative thinking by anchoring us in reality. We stop asking, why me? And start seeing things as they are. Challenges to overcome, lessons to learn, and opportunities to grow. By practicing objective perception, we cultivate a mind that remains calm in the face of chaos. We become the eye of the storm, still, centered, and unshakable. This power is always within us, waiting to be claimed. And once we master it, we free ourselves from the tyranny of our own thoughts. Number 6. Detachment from outcomes. We live in a world obsessed with results. Success is celebrated, failure condemned. But this fixation on outcomes traps us in anxiety and fear. We tether our peace of mind to things we cannot control. The Stoics remind us that the path to freedom lies in detaching ourselves from results and focusing on what is within our power, our actions, intentions, and efforts. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." We cannot predict or control the future. Yet we exhaust ourselves with endless worrying about how things will turn out. This obsession poisons our present and clouds our judgment. Imagine planting a seed. You can water it, give it sunlight, and care for the soil. But whether the seed grows into a tree is beyond your control. A storm may come. The soil may lack nutrients, but your effort remains pure. You did what was within your power. In life, we must approach our goals with the same mindset. Our duty is to act with diligence, wisdom, and integrity. The result, that is not ours to dictate. This does not mean we stop striving or become indifferent. On the contrary, it means we give our best effort, free from the chains of expectation. Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. When we focus solely on what we can control, we liberate ourselves from the anguish of uncertainty. We pour our energy into our actions, not into futile attempts to control fate. Consider a difficult conversation with a loved one. You may hope for reconciliation, for understanding, but you cannot control their response. You can only control your honesty, your calmness, and your compassion. Detaching from their reaction allows you to act with authenticity, free from fear or manipulation. If they respond well, it is a gift. If they do not, you remain at peace, knowing you did your part. This principle applies to every area of life: work, relationships, ambitions. When we detach from outcomes, we find clarity and resilience. We are no longer swayed by success or broken by failure. Our peace becomes unshakable, rooted in the integrity of our effort. The true victory lies in mastering ourselves. The true reward is the tranquility that comes from knowing we did what was right, regardless of how things turned out. In the words of Seneca, "He who is brave is free." And there is no greater bravery than surrendering the need to control what lies beyond our grasp. By letting go of outcomes, we reclaim our inner power. We become untethered, unburdened, and unafraid. We walk the path of life with courage, knowing that our actions define us, not the results they yield. This is the essence of true freedom. Conclusion: the power within you. We have traversed the landscape of self-mastery, control, and resilience. The Stoic path is not a fleeting philosophy, but a lifelong commitment to the refinement of our inner world. In a universe that constantly tests our patience, emotions, and endurance, our strength does not come from controlling external chaos. It emerges from mastering the internal storm. Marcus Aurelius once reflected, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words resonate through time as a beacon of clarity. Our liberation comes when we focus on the power we hold within, the power to respond, to endure, to overcome, the power to rise above destructive emotions and choose wisdom over impulse, calm over chaos, and action over despair. There will be moments when life throws us into darkness, when others test our boundaries, or when outcomes defy our expectations. In these moments, we are not powerless. We have the choice to stand firm, to breathe deeply, to act with courage. We may not be able to control what happens to us, but we can always control who we become in response to it. True transformation begins the moment we recognize this. When we stop looking for solutions outside ourselves and turn inward, we find the infinite strength of self-control, the steadfastness of fortitude, and the serenity of a mind unshackled by fear or regret. The path is not easy, but it is worth it, because the reward is freedom. The reward is peace. The reward is a life unshaken by the turbulence of the world. So as we walk forward from this moment, let us carry with us the wisdom of the Stoics. Let us embrace the principles that empower us to kill our negative thinking, to rise above petty conflicts, and to transform our lives with deliberate, disciplined action. The path is clear, and the strength is within you. The time for transformation is now. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.